Hello everyone, it's Carrie, and in today's video I'm working on a Xena the Warrior Princess as portrayed by Lucy Lawless in the 90s cult classic TV series. I've got a lot of great stuff to share in this video, so I hope that you'll stay tuned and watch it till the end. I'll be showing a lot of the costume construction, the face-up, the hairstyling, as well as putting together the final look. So here I'm starting out by making one of my classic corsets. So I've made these in a few other videos, but it's just using a piece of vinyl and shaping it, just kind of doing, not using a pattern, I just kind of shape it to the body and kind of eyeball it. So her skirt was kind of complex, and this is one of the main reasons why I haven't made this in a while. I'm a big fan of the show. I've always loved Xena. I've always loved Lucy Lawless, and I wanted to do one of these for so long. But this skirt, I just looked at it and thought it was just very challenging and overwhelming. And then one day it just kind of came to me how I would put it together. So I'm making these little fringe type skirt. I'm not sure what it's called. Maybe one of you guys know and can put in the comment section, but it's one of these like warrior type skirts. And funny enough, I used to make warrior skirts when I first started. My first few dolls I made with vinyl warrior skirts, and that was like back in 2012, and it's been since then that I've been wanting to do this one. But here is the complex part. So she had these little fringe pieces that were made with these little round dots, so I decided just to punch out a billion of them and kind of lay them out together and then glue them onto other pieces of vinyl. And it wasn't that bad. I thought it was gonna take forever, and it was so intimidating, and I can't believe I've waited this long to make this, but I'm super happy with the way it turned out, and I'm kind of glad I did wait because my skills have kind of improved since then. So at the time I'm making this video, this doll is sold, keep in mind I can make other dolls of these characters, but they have to be different versions. I think she has a couple different versions, so if you're interested in a Xena, let me know. But of course this would have to be a different version of Xena. So for she's got like this boomerang, and to make that I thought I would use some of this Worbla. I've been using this in a couple of my previous videos, especially the collab video, so if you haven't seen that one, I go into a little bit more detail about Worbla, so check that out by following the iCard that should pop up here, or check out my playlist. So Worbla is something that it's like a plastic sort of heatable substance that you can just kind of cut into the shape that you want, and then you heat it up and it can stick to itself. And it's just a fun product to work with. I thought it would be easier than clay because I could kind of cut it to make sure that I get a perfect circle, which it wasn't perfect, but it was close, I think. Then I'm using wood glue to give it a sort of a 3D effect. This is kind of doing the same thing as the Mod Podge Dimensional Magic, where it gives it just a three-dimensional like resin look. And then I'll paint over that later. So back to the costume, I've attached the skirt part to the corset, and now I'm using some Worbla to shape the detail on her chest. And I'm just using one of my old dolls that obviously is a little broken down at the neck to shape the Worbla on it. And this is how it turned out. I used some jump rings to attach the shoulder pieces, which were also constructed in Worbla, and it's all stitched together. Some more detail work needs to be added though. To do the shoulder pieces, I took them back off here to give them some more detail. I'm using this Rub and Buff. It's kind of like a wax paint substance that you can just rub onto the product, and it captures like the details and makes the details stand out in whatever color you're using. So here I'm working on these boots. These are, I think these are, ended up having to fix that little cut I did there, but these are an Everafter high boot. I'm not sure of the character. I think it might be Briar Beauty, but the flowers lead me to think that it is. But I thought these would work well. They're not exactly like Xena's boots, but after painting them and giving them a little bit of alteration, they turned out to fit the character. So I used this other pair of boots to cut out some vinyl pieces to attach to the top of these to make them a little bit longer and give them the detail of the boots that the character has. And so I let that dry. And then I'm using my favorite chalkboard paint to paint over the gold. And switching over to the boomerang, I'm just doing some detail work on that. I'm just using a craft paint here in gold. It's one of those, I'm not sure of the brand, I think it's like that Apple Barrel or something. But it's just one of those dollar craft paints from like Michael's or other craft stores. And once I finished painting the detail on there, I added some gems and used some Mod Podge, I think, or no, I used some Liquitex gloss sealer to give it a coat over the paint to protect it. So there it is with the little gemstones. And onto the face up. So I always thought that I would use a Charisse hood for this doll, and honestly I'm not sure which doll it is here that I'm using. I think it might be like a Darling Charming. Is that even a girl doll? I can't remember, but if anybody can recognize this doll, let me know in the description or the comment section below. I'm really not sure which one it is. I prep all my dolls and then they're put into bins with their hair removed and everything, so I kind of lose track of which doll I'm using. So all of the products that I use are in the description box below. And here I'm using a Derwent watercolor pencil and a black watercolor pencil for Prismacolor to shape the eyes. I rooted her hair with some alpaca yarn, which I'll show you how I styled it later on in this video. So I'm using some reference photos of Lucy Lawless to kind of capture the shape of the eyes and lips and nose. And when I was done, I felt like it kind of looked a little bit like her, but not as close as I wanted it to. But on the other side, I thought she looked very soft and pretty, so I was really happy with it. This is one of those, every once in a while I work on a doll that I wish that I was keeping for myself. But I don't keep any of my dolls, I don't collect them. But this was one that I would have saved probably. This and my Star Wars dolls that I've made. So I'm just doing some contouring with a darker shade, using pan pastels as usual. And just doing some contouring and shading, just trying to capture the look of Lucy Lawless from some of the photos that I'm using for reference. So while you're watching, I thought I would mention that I do have some commission spots open for April at the time I'm making this video. I opened 4 spots and 2 of those are taken, so if you're interested in a commission for April, be sure to shoot me a message through email or social media direct message. Make sure to direct message me, because if it's in the comments I may miss it, and I don't usually respond to nor price quote in comments. So just a heads up there. Also, I won't be able to do as many commissions in May and June because of the conventions that I'll be preparing for. So if you're interested in a commission in the next couple months, make sure to grab some spots for April or May. And while I'm on the subject, just how those commissions work is a small deposit is made while I work on the doll, and then the remainder of the deposit, or remainder of the quote that I've quoted at the beginning, will be due at the end of the completion of the doll, which takes a couple of weeks. So here I'm just going through my reds, and I'm trying to find some that will match the lip color that I want to create for her. Giving her just a little bit of blush and then onto her eyebrows. Oh, but back to what I was saying about the commission. So if you're interested in one and you reach out to me, I will, you would just let me know by either sending me some photos of what look you want, or we would just kind of discuss ideas, and once we determine what you would like, then I can give a better quote for what the cost of the doll would be. And then if you're still interested at that point, if it meets your budget and you're okay, comfortable for me to get started, I would just take a small deposit, and then, like I said, the remainder would be due once you are happy with the photos that I would send once I was completed with the commission. So let me know if you guys have any questions about that or anything else in the comment section below. And I'm trying to do my best to get to these comments. I know I missed a bunch of them during a time where I was kind of busy, but I'm working to get back to addressing or responding to comments in the comment section. So I'm adding some detail to her eyes. So with the conventions that I mentioned earlier, these are going to be comic book conventions, so that means lots of good comic book characters and pop culture characters will be coming up with those collections. So be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to make sure you're notified for those and other upcoming videos. So some other upcoming videos that I have are I have a couple more Cyndi Laupers and I've just had a lot of commissions for her, but I have just a couple more of those, and then some other characters from my most recent convention, and then some really fun commissions that I was just signed up to do recently this past month, so I'm excited to share some of those with you. So onto the hair. I've been asked a few times what this is that I have her head on, and I wish I could say, yeah, it's this product that you buy here, but unfortunately I made it, and it's kind of strange what I made it out of. It was like a desk lamp, and because the base is really heavy, I thought maybe I needed something really heavy that I could put the head on, and then that it wouldn't move around when I was kind of jerking. This one still does, but it's pretty heavy, so it doesn't move too much. But I made it with, I removed the lamp, kept the base, and then I actually used some clay to insert this wooden dowel, and that's what I put the head on. So it was a little complex, and it's not something that I could easily recreate or tell you how to, so I'm sorry about that. But hopefully it helps that maybe you can think out of the box and create something for yourself. It does make it a whole lot easier if you have something like this to put the head on, as opposed to most of us doll customizers will hold the doll like in between our knees and try to do the hair that way, and it's so much more complicated. So hopefully this stems some ideas for you anyway. So I was just using some hair gel and some water to straighten the hair. And now I'm cutting some bangs. And then I'll section the hair out here and use my flat iron. This yarn that I'm using, it's yarn, but it's a very high percentage of alpaca. So once it's thinned and once I thin it with some thinning shears and just pull out comb it out, then it removes a lot of the acrylic or whatever the other product is in it, and what's usually remaining is mainly alpaca hair. So I'm doing a little bit of braiding on the side to pull back to give her that little Xena style. You can see I have a couple of Xena photos in the background as reference. I was at an antique store on our travels this past year and found these, and I knew I wanted to do the Xena doll for so long, so when I got those I was like, oh, they're perfect. They really helped me with the costume and the hair. So here I'm just putting together the rest of the pieces. So I added some gold detail to the skirt with some dimensional paint. And then I made these armbands and added some gold embellishments to them. And I also added a little hook to the side of her skirt to hold the boomerang. And I sculpted these knee pads out of Warbla. So I'd love it if you gave this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for all the wonderful comments you guys have been leaving. I really appreciate each and every one of them. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye!